bonjour. Ah, pardon, je lisais un tout petit peu d'un bouquin là. Ah, merci, bienvenue. On est ici. Welcome, my friends. We are here for la perspective académique. Et on a, en France, on est en le Louvre, on a la musique, on amène les casteurs, on amène Joshi et Mad Magical sur le premises. Parce qu'on va faire un peu de l'art aujourd'hui, donc... Ah, bienvenue mes amis encore, c'est bien de te avoir.
So, I didn't realize you changed your look, Mr. Frenchman.
Ben, qu'est-ce que tu dis? C'est le même, c'est le même.
You said you look like Bob's Burgers. I was just not ready for that.
Ben, qu'est-ce que tu dis? Ah, Bob Burger? C'est quoi Bob Burger? On sait pas ça en France. Ben, on va commencer. Donc, on a de l'art. On a art, my friends. Art.
I got that word.
On va commencer.
Yeah, I got that one too.
On a trois. On a three.
Three.
Trois morceaux de l'art.
Okay. So 3 pictures
On va commencer.
that he's gonna
Et
show
après
us.
ça, tu dois me dire, you have to tell me
Oh, you speak English.
who it is. Qui
Okay.
c'est? D'accord, on va commencer. We're gonna
Comment
start,
se
my
dit,
friends.
Okay. Was kann dich nicht verstehen?
Same. Okay.
All right, so we gotta guess this, Josh.
White.
We gotta figure out what he's drawing.
D'accord, ça commence.
Line.
Non. Non.
Somebody going fishing. It's like a fish hook.
Oh, anchor!
Oh,
It's an anchor!
oh.
It's an anchor!
Oh, ça, ben, j'ai pas fini, mon ami. J'ai pas.
Josh, you gave me that
I
one.
am not
Yeah,
You gave me
finished.
that one by saying
I am
fish.
not finished. What are you doing? Ah, c'est.
He gave
D'accord.
He gave it.
Donc,
Once he said it was fishing, I knew it was anchor.
Anchor.
Anchor,
Ok.
okay.
Deuxième. Le deuxième. The second,
second.
my friends. The second.
Okay.
All right, Josh, don't play easy with me this time.
All
Don't
right.
give me the answer.
I'll try not to give you too many hints as we start looking at it. It's a tree trunk.
On va. C'est horrible. C'est l'artiste. It's a little rough, my friends.
Yeah, I was
The
about to
art
say.
today is a little rough.
It's a Martian. Is it a Martian?
Yeah,
Non, mon ami, c'est pas un
what is
marchand.
up with that left hand? Or is it right? I can't.
Is it?
Je sais
what is
pas,
that? Is that a
qu'est-ce que tu
cape?
dis?
No, no, no.
Je sais pas.
It's a wig.
Oh,
okay,
no.
okay,
It's a
okay.
wig.
C'est fait.
Mannequin.
Oh,
No, it's black.
Non, presque. C'était black. D'accord, presque.
Power outage. Blonde.
Blonde.
Karen.
Non, c'est quelqu'un, c'est
It looks
quelqu'un.
like.
D'accord, on a les petits.
Mm,
What is?
very pretty. Wait, is that a
I feel like-
child?
Les
Oh,
petits.
Wait. It's a mom. It's a mom because those are all the children.
Oh, c'est un moment. Oui. Ah oui, j'ai fini. Ah, voilà.
Two children and a
It's
chicken.
beautiful. Ça, c'est vraiment... art from France is beautiful. All right?
I
Magnifique.
wouldn't have gotten
Une
that.
troisième. Le dernier. D'accord, le dernier.
All right, the third one.
Je sais pas
Okay,
comment
okay,
je vais
okay,
le
okay.
faire.
Okay. Let's see. So we're one apiece right now.
Ça
We're one
va.
apiece right
On
now.
a piece. It's a duck.
L'art, c'est magnifique
Okay.
ici.
Well, if the other one was a mom, is this one a dad?
Non, c'est pas un
I like
papa.
duck.
C'est pas un papa.
What?
Je sais
World
pas
is
ce que
this?
c'est ici.
Definitely looks like a person.
Gingerbread
C'est
man.
comme... Non, c'est presque.
Is it a
C'est
persona?
presque. C'est. Tu sais.
Oh,
Non,
is it a bear? Mama
c'est
bear.
un
Mama and
animal.
bear.
C'est un
Mama and bear.
animal.
Is it a bear?
Ah! Oh! Magical! Oh, donc c'est un ours.
It's
It's a
Cubby,
bear,
yes.
my friend. Donc, mes amis.
Oh, okay,
On vient.
Ah ha ha.
C'est quoi l'histoire? What is the story?
Story.
JJ. It's got to be JJ.
The mama
Ah,
bear.
JJ, le
No,
mama
it's the
bear.
anchor, mama
Oui.
and bear. Yeah.
Et il jouait le Nautilus avec le. Tu sais, le hook.
Les hooks.
Donc, le premier. Ben, ça, c'était l'histoire. C'était JJ. Merci, mes amis. Ça, c'était génial. Ah, je vais commencer à remettre les patchs. I'm gonna put back the art in the Louvre. Et have fun with your shoutcasting, my friends. Au revoir.
Auf Wiedersehen.
I feel like we just had a great competition, right? Everybody knows Les Petits Princes. not everybody knows Le Momobert.
The Momobert.
Le Momobert.
See, I having not learned French my entire life, and literally learning all the French that I now learn from this, except for omelette du fromage.
Omelette du
'cause,
fromage.
that's the little bit of French I do know. But everything I'm learning here is like I'm just trying my best to guess what he's saying. I feel like he's actually telling us half the time.
I think
and then
so.
And he has to like change it back into English because he's like, okay, you guys are pathetic. This is
You
the
guys don't
answer,
know what
come
you're
on."
talking about. Yeah, we speak a couple languages between the two of us, Magical, but French
Yep.
is not one of them.
No.
No.
We both share Japanese, but you're obviously fluent. I
Oh.
know very little compared to you. I got a little bit of German. I got a little bit of Spanish, but again, then
Yeah, I mean, your
Rafa beats me in
German
that.
is way better than mine is as well. I think I can count to 9, but I don't even know what 10 is. So,
Really?
I don't know what 10.
Zane, it's Zane.
Zane?
All right,
Alright.
Zane, like
Zane?
Okay,
Okay,
either way,
okay, okay.
let's get Lennon back in here. Let's get Mazel back in here so he can help us break down this game a little bit more. So welcome back, our
Hello!
beautiful host.
Hi, friends.
Did-
Long time no see. How you know it was a very interesting game. Number one we had of the day. Nothing else particularly interesting between the games. But that gameplay, and especially the fact that Dignitas just took hold of that game and never
Yeah.
let go, was very
Yeah.
impressive.
Do you think we could get another on the range impression from that game?
Oh no.
Is there
True.
anything? Ah, darn
Just
it.
specifically on that game. I don't know. I'll reach out to my contacts. I'll see if the guy's around anymore and see if he's
There you
available,
go.
I guess.
That'd be a good game for that. I mean, there were a lot of plays in that game, especially from Dignitas. It was a clean game.
There were
That was
were.
very controlled, and that's what I like to see from them.
Yeah, there were a couple hooks coming out from JJ where not only were they just catching people,
Mama bear.
right and left, but sometimes it's like, no, but he actually landed that. I still think the one that he got on Tomio next to one of the first dragons.
That's exactly what I was
Absolutely
gonna
crazy.
say. Oh my god, that was insane.
You guys
How
not
does
know
that
how to
even
play
hit?
Nautilus? Come on.
You know, you just gotta get the hooks around the wall,
It's
right?
just the mama bear
It's
div.
curving the bullet. I mean, I
It's
could have
curving the
taught you this stuff. That's child's play if you know how to play
That
Nautilus.
hook was just right.
No, that was very well done by JJ. He's showing his proficiency on that champion,
Yeah.
right? We've seen that a lot out of him this year, but really showed off how good on that champion he is.
I feel like
Yeah,
there's been a lot of people like kind of hating on Nautilus recently, but when you see performances like that, you kind of get the impressions like, oh yeah, this champion's getting picked because our players are good at them. Crazy how that works.
Well, and I think a lot of the conversation comes down to the jungle presence and Tomio just really never having anything to go for him and XU making sure of that, right? Like if you get a lead like that and you're able to continue to pressure constantly the entire game, never letting them breathe, like that is dominance. And to see that in game number one, I'm really excited for the turnaround, and especially to see what that turnaround is going to look like. Because guys, Champ Select is ready, and we're going to go ahead and send you off on our second game of the day. So have fun.
Bye, Lennon. It's always good having you, our lovely host of Mazel. We'll have him back after this game as well, hopefully for a nice, lovely interview with the winner of this second game. Dignitas was very clean out of them, but what do we want to see from Evil Geniuses to be able to turn this around?
Proactivity, mostly. It just kind of felt like almost every single time Dignitas were going for something, and then Evil Geniuses just let them get away with it. And so Dignitas, I have to imagine they were feeling very comfortable that entire time, Magical, because every single time we saw Dignitas line up for an objective, Evil Geniuses would be like, yeah, I think you got this one. And it just happened like 3 or 4 times in a row, and Dignitas, once they had that leader's like, well, okay, we'll try and go for a fight one time on this last objective, and Dignitas just Evil Geniuses were not ready to go for it. So as we get into our second part of the series, Evil Geniuses now on the blue side. We'll see if that changes any of their playstyles or any of the picks that they want to go for.
As right now, we do see that Evil Geniuses have banned away that Lee Sin from XU after game 1, realizing, hey, this guy's really good on the champion, not again. But also, they don't have to worry about banning Zeri. That had been taken away by Dignitas. Same with Twisted Fate and Caitlyn.
Yeah.
Caitlyn has been one of those red side bans we've seen pretty much throughout this entire season. Whenever that's banned, Jinx is always the first pick.
Yeah, I do have a fun little stat since, you know, these champions we're seeing all the time. And again, the Katarina pick for XU's girlfriend. Just giving a quick shout out. If, you know, if you're not paying attention, we do have Valentine's
Will they play
Day.
it one day?
XU probably won't. Darkwings maybe. But we'll see.
You don't think X2's going to play it?
I'd be
jungle?
surprised if he went for that, but I do have a fun stat for you, Magical, while we wait. Because, again, we've seen all these champions before, no big surprises. As of last week, there were these two champions on the red side bans had the highest ban to pick ratio of all champions in Academy. Caitlyn has only been played 4 times as of last week and had something like 50 bans to her name. And Zeri had 1 pick and 20 bans to her name, making both of them the highest ban to pick ratio champions of everything in Academy, and continued red side bans coming out for Dignitas, making sure that you don't give over the 2 best marksmen on the patch to anybody on Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, and yeah, you're right, by the way. I double-checked that because I'm like, wait, is it really? Because I know she used the most ban, but I'm like, has she
I kind of forgot she was in the meta, honestly. Like, that's how little we're seeing her.
Exactly, and so with her ban, you see that Jinx has been picked up, Felios traded by Spawn, but instead of grabbing that Nautilus for JJ, they grab that Jarvan, and then on the other side, Skytech takes away the Nautilus, not wanting to let JJ have quite the performance that he did last time.
Yeah, but I'm more excited for the Diana pick, right? Because this is the one champion that is not entirely stock standards, a little bit outside of the core meta that we're seeing in Academy right now. And the thing that it really sets up for is, one, by bringing magic damage in the jungle, you are no longer required to bring magic damage in one of your solo lanes. You're still allowed to, but the other thing is it sets up this obvious position for a big wombo combo, meaning that other AoE abilities and ultimates suddenly become so much stronger when you have this Diana on the team, because she sucks everybody in all at once. And potentially Yasuo, Yone. I know we saw this like once or twice come through. Team Liquid played it, and Spawn had some harsh words for his team about how they were actually able to execute on it. But, quote, the draft was sick.
I mean, we've also seen this for Golden Guardians. We've seen it from Iconic. They've been playing that a good amount as well. And so we look at how Diana has been. She's gotten banned actually a lot more than you'd expect. She's been banned 17 games, 18 if you count the last one.
Yeah.
And then picked in 4 of them. This is going to be our 5th one that we've actually seen her played here in Academy. And with this, we want to see what is going to be grabbed for Evil Geniuses paired with this for Saligo, especially. If they're going to go for the Wombo combo, the Yasuo-Diana combination, or if they want to go for something a little bit different. One of the things that I kind of like to see taken when you have something like Diana is actually go for a Renekton top lane.
Okay.
Because how well they work together, and it's almost like having that Nidalee Renekton combination, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, just having a lockdown to make sure that you can land the Moonfall, and then you get the reset on Diana's E, the Lunar Rush, gives you a lot more mobility than you would have if that does end up missing. So, Dignitas, I mean, they ban away the Yasuo, which does take out one of the core members of any kind of Diana composition. And Dignitas, I mean, to their credit, they already have picked up a very standard style of play, right? A very clear front line, very obvious back line. The one thing that they need to do is make sure that they don't give over the first kill, because once the first kill goes over to Kaori, this Jinx is going to wreak havoc with the backline, because they only have a burst of crowd control on Dignitas. They don't have anything to lock them down after Kaori's already reset.
At the moment, with that Braum picked up for JJ in the spot lane, the Felios Braum is kind of like that fallback when you don't get the Thresh, you don't get Lulu, you don't get Leona or Nautilus. Makes a lot of sense. While on the other side, get an Akali locked in. It's still up in the air until we see this final pick for Evil Geniuses on where exactly that is going to go, whether it's going to be a Surdy pick or a Saligo pick. I'm keeping my eyes on how they want to play this one, because when Diana goes in, Akali works well with that too. Diving in, getting a lot of damage, especially if they're all pulled in by that Moonfall. I'm just wondering what they want to round up their composition with. If they really want to fully in on the skirmishing, it is that Renekton I had called out earlier.
There you go. Yeah, we're seeing Evil Geniuses. They have a lot of champions with dashes to go in, and they create so many threats that the Jinx kind of gets left alone, because Dignitas can't afford to be using their crowd control in order to try and take that down. And I love this response coming through initially. I love the Gragas in particular that Dignitas was hovering if they do end up locking it down.
There it is.
Yeah, there you go. Dignitas is looking to make sure that their backline doesn't get peeled apart by the members of Evil Geniuses. Instead, they want to make sure that Evil Geniuses are the ones that they can are the ones that Dignitas can focus down individual members, and when all of these divers are coming at the same time, makes it so much easier to disperse them with the explosive cask than anything else that currently exists in the game.
Yeah, second most played champion out of Eclipse, just right behind Gwen in that top lane. This is something that he's been able to play very well, especially going for the more tanky style. We can be that frontline tool, the disrupting tool as well. where if a Diana Akali dive into your backline, you can just knock them away and make it a little bit easier to kite back for Darkwings, for spawn.
Yeah, so the job of Dignitas is very obvious, right? You just want to make sure you don't give over that first kill to the other side. Don't let Kauri reset on this Jinx. You need to make sure you can withstand the burst, and that means that Darkwings and Spawn in particular need to be playing a decent way back during these fights. However, for Evil Geniuses, you have a lot of ways to win these team fights. As long as you aren't getting split up, as long as you aren't going to be losing some of these first parts of the engagement, you have a lot of tools, but it also requires a lot of proactivity from Evil Geniuses, which is a big difference from what we saw in the first game. I think they can do it, but now they have to prove that they're ready to continue climbing the standings.
And with that, with the fact that they have to play more aggressively, we've been seeing a lot more teams outside of Dignitas kind of fall back to more of the late game scaling, try to see if they can just withstand their early pressure as opposed to having to play this aggressive style. To see Evil Geniuses be willing to grab this, we just need to see them play with that conviction that Dignitas did previously, as you were calling out there, Joshi. See them actually look for these early plays and allow Tomio, allow Surdy to really be the ones to kind of lead the charge in the initial stages as we load up onto the Rift for Game 2.
Okay, here we go. Coming out, I'm trying to see if there's anything particularly surprising coming out from anybody. I mean, there's a press the attack choice coming out from Spawn, just one of the many runes that you can choose to go on Aphelios. And yeah, that's really the only surprise that we see coming out. I guess Tomio going with the Conqueror is a little bit interesting. We have been seeing some murmurings of a tank Diana build that is possible in the jungle, but we'll see what they end up going for. We can't tell that just from the runes. But across the board, pretty standard stuff coming through. Not a whole lot of early posturing for Vision either. We saw Skytech get pushed out from trying to go from a ward in the opposing red buff, and JJ could potentially go for something very similar, considering he is the Braum.
But I'm expecting to see Dignitas actually not want to go for anything too early, too quickly. This is a composition that, as you kind of had called out, wants to make sure they're playing a little bit more defensively early on. And we know that Dignitas are good at playing that defensive, but yet proactive style.
Yeah.
To have them here, we're in a composition like Evil Geniuses, where Evil Geniuses have to be the team to make these concise calls. They have to be full of conviction if they actually want to have anything work out. Putting a lot onto the table for Evil Geniuses to actually win this game.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious. Oh, this is something we haven't seen in a while. Eclipse, knowing that Renekton is starting with the blue buff, pulling the minions off into the side in order to make sure that all of these minions are going to aggro on the same one of Eclipse's. So this wave is naturally going to be pushing towards Eclipse, meaning that he should be relatively safe. And Surdy, if he doesn't get this to crash and bounce off the turret, is going to be in a really dangerous position when XU gets up here.
You can tell that Surdy is trying his damnedest to do that. He's trying to see if he can reset the aggro for them. But like you called out, oops, it was a good call. He even gave the thumbs up like, yep, you know what I'm doing. You know what I'm trying to accomplish here. It's going to be really difficult for you to crash this minion wave because I am still Gragas.
Yeah, still Gragas still has the natural sustain coming in from his kit, but he will. This is the natural consequence. He will be level 2 second, but the fact that Eclipse is currently in a spot where they can't crash the wave. I don't remember if this made it into the final cut, but XU was talking about this where he said, yeah, Eclipse was calling out that my opposing top laner couldn't go to actually crash the wave, and they were in a really desperate position. And this looks very reminiscent of the first time where we saw XU playing Lee Sin and absolutely blowing the top lane out of the water.
But here, playing on Jarvan, not quite as explosive as we've seen him on Lee Sin, but still someone who can go for these early plays, these early ganks. Look how Eclipse is still playing this lane. He might be down in CS, but it's still early into the game. It doesn't really matter too much. So he's getting this wave to stay frozen just outside of turret range.
Yeah, Surdy going to be playing a bit more defensively, right? Throwing down the early ward, and so that does mean that X will have to go for something a little bit more inventive, but he's Jarvan. He can just hop over the Rift Herald wall if he wants to come in for a gank. So a lot of inventive choices coming out from Dignitas right off the bat, and we'll see if it ends up resulting in anything, because XU is still hovering on this top side of the map, but Diana on the opposite side, and yeah, he's doing exactly that.
As he might even grab the Scuttle Crab before going towards the top lane. You can tell Surdy playing cautiously, saying, you know what, XU probably did exactly as we were just talking about the flag and drag over the wall, but he can't go too far away from the minions, otherwise he just completely forfeits anything, any control that he can maybe salvage back against Eclipse.
Oh, as soon as XU shows here in the mid lane, the opportunity for top lane ganks is gone. He goes anyway.
Nice flash away from Soligo. It was a flash reciprocated by XU. That means that you now have a lane that you can revisit shortly.
Okay, I mean that I'm a little bit unconvinced on this path that ends up coming through. Yes, they end up trading the flashes with Soligo, but Eclipse, I mean, he gave up 2 waves of minions in order to make sure that Surdy was in a really tough position, and now XU moving towards the bottom half of the map. I feel like this is very readable. You don't see him going back into his own jungle. The only camp he could do is the Gromp. He has to be here.
Waiting it out. They've got XU nearby. It's going to be a TP in with an exhaust on Cowrie. But JJ took a lot of damage. It's going to be first blood still picked up for Spawn, but it's a trade of 1-for-1. XU, the next target, and Surdy will silence him.
And this is Surdy just coming down with a teleport and saying, look, this is what you do to me. You make me sit back so far. I was going to be able to get a lead anyway, and now with the teleport coming through, I'm going to get the kill. So Dignitas, I mean, I like the proactivity coming through, but the early game plan doesn't feel quite as well thought out, and Evil Geniuses, they don't need to be proactive if they're just willing to punish the plays that are coming out from Dignitas. It looks so much better already, as now Surdy super accelerated up in this top lane.
Surdy is going to feel very confident once he recalls. Look at how much he was able to gather in the spot lane as well, crashing the minion wave 2, so Spawn's going to be denied once he goes for his recall. Even if Eclipse was able to crash this minion wave into the top lane, Cowrie was able to just reset since he had died at the beginning, go top lane, and pick up all that farm.
Yeah, okay, Tomio going through. Oh, he senses something's up.
Yes, he does, but it's not going to be the flag and drag that connects onto Tomio. Nice sidestep of that so he can stay alive. Able to get a couple chickens here and there away from XU.
I got the big one.
But unfortunately, with JJ nearby, he couldn't really gain too much control.
Yeah, okay, so this is Dignitas once again trying to go back to what got them success the first time around, knowing that Evil Geniuses are largely in transition, starting up the Dragon, but quickly deciding against it once they start seeing the members of Evil Geniuses coming through. So now, Evil Geniuses very firmly in the driver's seat for this game. The fact that Renekton is so much stronger than he should be at this point of the game. The fact that the bottom lane is going A-okay. Cowrie still walking away with 2 assists off of that dive that Dignitas was going for suddenly puts Evil Geniuses in a position where they can start dictating a lot of the plays around the map with a composition that I wasn't expecting to come online until a little bit later.
This is what we wanted to see out of Evil Geniuses, right? We want to see Evil Geniuses get these leads, be able to play proactively, even if we were waiting for a little bit of time until they got the level 6s. They need to make sure they're playing aggressively. They're playing with confidence, because we know Dignitas, they will play any play, even if it looks disadvantageous, with the utmost confidence.
Now, Tomio, I mean, he's using the fact that XU spent a lot of time on the bottom half of the map to start taking away the Raptors. Remember, we just saw XU try and make a play on Tomio's Raptors just moments ago, and Tomio now going to be picking up all of these, and XU even opting to give over the blue buff super early on. He's losing his entire top half of the map at this point, and that's going to be putting XU really, really far behind on this drive, and Tomio, again, super accelerated. The top half of Evil Geniuses are looking super strong, and Surdy now coming behind Eclipse.
Tomio has hit level 6 as well. This is the power that I had talked about before. They've got the stun from Surdy. They've got the dive in. Eclipse cannot escape from Tomio.
Yeah, great play coming through, making sure that Tomio was going to be hitting level 6 for that play. There was nothing that could be done, and XU can't even go back into his own jungle to farm. This is a fantastic topside play coming in from Surdy and Tomio in order to accelerate the Croc, accelerate the Diana. And with this power, as you were saying, suddenly the mid game coming out from Evil Genius is going to be so strong compared to Victor. Victor does not do a whole lot in the mid game. He's mostly just an ultimate and a gravity field, and while Diana and Renekton are coming into their primes.
But still, with great power comes great responsibility for Evil Genius.
Thanks, man.
They got to make sure that they're playing this one wisely, not throwing away these leads they've now gathered for themselves from top lane and bot lane out into the wind with just weird fights with weird angles. They got to keep playing with confidence, but always look for the advantages on these flanks.
Well, they're not going to be able to find anything here because Dignitas is 5 members strong playing for the Rift Herald. And with the members of Evil Geniuses too far away, Dignitas would be able to pick this up and leave. So I like the call coming up from Evil Geniuses. Like, yeah, you know, we were a bit late to that one, but slowing down the reset spawn going to take a lot longer to go back into the bottom lane, and that will probably actually win Cowrie a plate.
Soligo is able to dodge away from JJ. Not going to be too easy to grab this Akali, kind of like what we had seen previously when Darkwings was playing LeBlanc. Akali, another one of those slippery champions that can easily dodge away from any plays, and you had talked about this in Champion Select. The lockdown potential out of Dignitas isn't the greatest. Sure, you rely on maybe your Gragas, Jarvan too, the flag and drag, but that's really situational, right? There's a lot of situational CC they have on their team. While on the other side, Evil Geniuses have a lot of mobility to move around and to disengage whenever they need to.
We'll see how well they can actually make that work later on. Evil Genius is now going to be picking up the first dragon for themselves. There is a level 6 on JJ again, with more experience than Skytech in the game, is going to have access to his ultimate. But the first dragon now going over to Evil Geniuses, and we know that Dignitas are not going to be the kind of team to just roll over and give over too many objectives to the members of Evil Geniuses. So the only question I have is, when do they choose to fight? I think they have a team that doesn't need to fight for the next dragon either. I'm pretty sure they can wait for the third dragon to spawn, and they have, 1.5, 2 items on both Darkwing's Victor and Spawns of Phalios before they necessarily go for any of these fights. And Dignitas, I think that really comes down to the fact that Spawn and JJ are going to just be calling us like, hey, it's okay, we don't win fights for a little while, let's make sure we're trying to find something else in the map and play where Evil Geniuses aren't.
I wonder if that has anything to do with their Rift Herald take as well, and utilizing that to get those leads. Try to see if they can maybe plop that down mid lane. We already know Darkwings is going to be able to get good pushes onto Sligo almost all the time, especially now. Hitting level 9, getting that recall, the Mythic completed. It's going to be difficult for Sligo to ever push back against Darkwings, and I almost wonder if they just want to secure that tier 1 mid, so that way they can completely control the flexibility of Darkwings.
Yeah, speaking of Darkwings, right, he's also opted to go with the Leandri's, I want to say Torment, but I know it's changed from
Anguish,
I
believe.
Yeah, so the Leandri's coming through for Darkwings means that he's going to have a very different damage profile as his Victor than he normally would with a Luden-style build, or even a Crown of the Shattered Queen. He's going to go for these long, brawling style of team fights on this Victor, rather than the burst, trying to burst out Kauri, because as we identified at the beginning of the game, there's not a lot of access to this Jinx for the members of Dignitas. They have to kill the front line first, and as they start moving down here towards the bottom side of the map, they also see that XU is here. They're just going to be dropping this in order to try and get Spawn and JJ ahead.
I was wondering if they would use it mid, but instead, bot lane. Like you said, try to get Spawn and JJ out of this lane. Maybe even look to see if they can set up a dive. Charge has finally come through, just barely. Was Shelly able to make that charge happen, as Kauri and Skytech took a lot of damage all the while from Spawn right outside of the range.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage coming through. They also see Tomio XU wisely using the flag to kind of scout things out, and there's an opportunity here for a dive, but teleports are available for Surdy and Sligo.
Oh, it's going to be a Moonfall, though, onto Spawn and JJ with the depth charge on top of Spawn as well. The grenade's placed down, but not going to be able to get the lockdown onto any member. Instead, just defending the tier 1 turret.
Yeah, Exhaust mitigates almost all the damage coming through from Tomio, but it might be enough. No, it's not even going to be enough to save the structure, because look at this. Kauri and Skytech still hovering around, and JJ and Spawn aren't going to be giving them any ground, but Saligo with the back still has a teleport available. I don't think they want to play for this.
No, not when Darkwing's on the other side. Here comes the TP, but Kauri is able to flash.
Oh, no.
Skytech got golden. Now it's going to be the attention turned back onto him. But here's Surdy. We've seen this play happen once before. He flashes over the wall. He was able to get one to go golden, but he's able to get the kill on the Spawn and turn his attention onto Darkwing for 3 kills immediately out of Evil Geniuses. Skytech, he wasn't able to do much to be able to lock down XU, but honestly, all in all, it is great for Evil Genius.
And it's the same play, Magical. It's the same thing. The Evil Geniuses are finding the victory coming through. They're just waiting for Dignitas to over-aggress in the bottom half of the map, and they punish once again. I just said I don't think they're going to play for this, and Dignitas choose to not just pick up the sure thing of the turret. They try and get the dive to come off, and Evil Geniuses are ready. They say, we know you're going to be this kind of aggressive play. We're going to be ready to have everybody to stop you, and with double teleports coming through from Surdy and Sligo. Remember how we thought that Surdy was going to be a problem when he got the 1 kill after teleporting down? He just got 2 more.
With the Stride Breaker completed as well. We haven't seen that item in quite some time, but we got to take a look at this replay. And it's like you said, it's pretty much the exact same play as before for Surdy.
Yeah, and he comes down, and everybody has to get out. All the flashes over the walls. In fact, XG has to flash over the own wall that he created. And Surdy, once he gets into the back line, there's just not damage yet, right? You saw that Redacted sat in basically the entire Chaos Storm for Victor and didn't care.
Oh. He's just like, yeah, sure, whatever. You don't really do that much damage to me. I can easily absorb this. Get 3-0-2 for Surdy on this Renekton as well. Even though Dignitas were able to pick up this turret eventually in the bot lane.
Yeah.
So much advantage has been picked up by Evil Geniuses here. We got to see them continue to snowball, to find these advantages over Dignitas and never really relent that pressure.
Well, we'll see. This has been a game where even though Evil Geniuses are coming out with big wins, they are still reactive plays coming through. And reactive plays can sometimes be enough if your opponent is making mistakes. But Dignitas, I mean, I feel like, you know, once bitten, twice shy. I wonder if they're going to be going for the same kind of super aggressive style of play as Eclipse angled with Surdy for the first time.
Well, and this is going to be a problem for Eclipse. Because right now, Surdy's got a lot of damage with the help of that Stridebreaker and 2 longswords. And Eclipse kind of realized that. He's like, yeah, you know what? I can't beat you. I don't have a mythic completed, and I'm not tanky enough.
Yeah. Who was it that was saying the crocodilian has teeth? Was that Mazel on the range?
I think so.
I think so,
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're seeing that again.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with this guy right now, and I'm very surprised that Dignitas are posturing at all for this dragon, right? I said I didn't think that they could really participate in fights at this point in the game, but they have a lot of people here in the mid lane. They're not necessarily creating a push elsewhere, and Dignitas, I mean, with the Leandres coming through, I mean, it'll help them spot out Soligo even while he is in the Shroud, but he doesn't have the same kind of raw burst damage. It's going to be a grindy fight, and his front line just does not live long enough yet for the Leandres to have its full effect.
Josh, this is why I always call Dignitas Academy the most coin flip team we have in Academy. This is a team that is not willing to just give up anything, even when behind. They're willing to coin flip these dragon takes, these Baron fights. They're always looking to play proactively. They don't like to just sit back, relax, and admit defeat.
Okay.
They always want to see if they can go down with style.
Yeah, and this is the other side of the flip, right? I am so much happier they are opting to go for an objective on the other side of the map than trying to contest this dragon, right? They're going to be grabbing the Rift Herald and Eclipse. I mean, he's been doing this quite a bit, right? He's just been sitting and holding waves and creating this big freeze situation. And I know the Church of LS,
Massive wave.
you know, I'm sure Twitch chat is excited. Cloud9 does play next, but just freezing this out does mean that Surdy is going to be denied an opportunity to farm. At least one member of Evil Geniuses won't be able to pick anything up. Instead, going to be frozen on really, really far back. And Dignitas, you know, the gold lead hasn't really grown even after the disastrous second dive that they had in the bottom side of the map. And JJ...
Oh no, Mama Bear needs some protection here because he got fought out by Skytech. It was a pretty easy pick coming in for EG.
Very rough spot. I like that Skytech was also holding on to the ultimate in case Spawn did want to try and make anything happen, but this is a big reversal of our first game, Magical. It's the same turret that Dignitas have picked up. It's the same number of kills at this point in the game that Dignitas had as last game, and it just feels like the game has completely reversed in a lot of ways from the first half, and that's really exciting for Evil Geniuses fans because they know that now Evil Geniuses is playing with an opportunity to actually try and win this one instead of just slowly bleeding out. So XU comes here with the Rift Herald, the turret likely to go down, but Spawn and XU not obviously getting out.
However, trying to do his damnedest to be able to get rid of Shelly, but not going to be able to do so. The charge
Close.
will complete, but will not take the turret. The easy peasy for Dignitas to eventually take later on, but it's going to be difficult to get into that position in the first place because you can see how EG are positioning. They're not playing that passive style, the reactionary anymore. They are now on the hunt. They are the ones, similar to how Dignitas were in the previous game, on the prowl looking for these plays.
On the prowl. The Nidalee lane, right?
I think so. I mean, prowl is also, you know, a word in the English
What?
dictionary and language that people use for other things.
What?
Yeah, I know, right? Weird.
I didn't realize that League of Legends was written in English. I quit.
I mean, then again, we could also just become like a J.R.R. Tolkien, or we could be like Shakespeare and just make up our own words.
I mean, I feel like we do that all the time.
I mean, yes, I do.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
You definitely do it a little bit more than me, but as we see the turret go down in the mid lane, Dignitas, they have now doubled the turret count that Evil Geniuses had in the last game, and the gold lead still hovering pretty steadily around 3,000. So, again, my eyes typically on Kauri, but now in this game in particular on Surdy to see how effective he's going to be in creating pressure for the rest of his team. Remember, a huge part of the way that Evil Geniuses is looking to play is to make Kauri look good by finding him that first reset. But Skytech looking to come over this wall.
Looking to see if he can have the play, and look at that! That was a nice moonfall coming in from Tomio, bouncing around
Oh,
Spawn,
God.
so Cowrie can get
It's a
his kill.
disaster.
He is excited. He is getting a lot of damage, but he's going to be silenced. But even though they got the kill on Cowrie, they've lost every other member on Dignitas. 4-4-1. That is a huge play coming in from Evil Geniuses.
Big disaster coming through right now for Dignitas. Evil Geniuses find everything they could possibly want in that fight, and 4 for 1 coming through. Cowrie, the only one to end up going down, means that they're going to find this mid lane turret at the absolute minimum. Unfortunately, with their designated objective hitter in the graveyard, not going to be able to find a whole lot more than that. But still, another big fight coming through as Evil Geniuses denying any opportunity for Dignitas to try and come back. They're the ones playing gatekeepers this time around, and as we take a look at the replay, notice that the first person that gets reset on is Spawn on this Ophelio. Suddenly, Cowrie able to free hit, and the only thing he misses here is the teleport coming through from Darkwings, and Darkwings pays dearly immediately afterwards for it.
Yeah, 4-4-1. Sure, you got the kill on a Cowrie, but at what cost? Great cost for Dignitas as now. The gold lead hadn't really moved for quite some time, as you had called out, Joshi. But look at it now. Ballooning to 5,000 for Evil Geniuses, just shy of that 20-minute mark, where you can see that Evil Geniuses now want to flex that might around the Baron Pit.
Yeah, Surdy again having a big play. Skytech now turning things around. Had a rough game one, but is being a big playmaker in this second game. So, XU, I mean, at least is still maintaining some relative experience parity with Tomio, which was not true in our previous game. But Dignitas, I'm kind of curious how they're going to start looking to make plays. I mean, it feels like a pressure play is the way that they typically want to play, because Evil Geniuses are going to be the ones that are going to get to try and have all of these fights started. But I was saying normally this is about the time I was expecting Dignitas to be strong enough to start going for these objective fights, but not anymore. Not when you're suddenly down 5,000 gold.
Especially when you have Surdy, what was it, 3,000 gold over that of Eclipse? Sure, it's the Renekton versus Tank matchup. You expect that kind of, not that kind of lead, but you expect some sort of lead to happen for Surdy. But he's got such a massive lead at this point that him and Tomio, this combination that I talked about, the Renekton and Diana kind of having a similar function of the Nidalee Renekton, the bruisers that kind of play together well. They look to dive into the backline with one another. We've already seen how successful that can be when Tomio is the first one on the call.
Yeah. And Magical, a completely different topic.
Oh, yeah?
The new items, the item changes. The Death's Dance.
Yeah. I mean, we saw that a bit on, 12-2, but now seeing that here for Surdy as well gives him that a bit more survivability in these fights. Poor Eclipse. He's playing a tank, but still nearly gets taken out. Rocket. Aw.
All right, good attempt. But yeah, this Death's Dance, I'm super shocked at the change that they actually made to this item, because it doesn't just have the 30% damage reduction on physical damage, it's now all damage once again. And so Surdy, insanely tanky throughout the course of these fights. It's going to be incredibly difficult to actually take him down. And Dignitas, we're going to try and find ways for them to come back into the game, but their ability to make proactive plays on this Renekton has been severely reduced when he's just taking 30% less damage than he would from any other source, and thereby living so much longer than he would otherwise. So Dignitas, I'm trying to think on like where they come back, because they still have some cool tools to use together, right? You can layer a bunch of ultimates on top of each other, but you don't necessarily want to use Eclipse's ultimate at the same time as the Jarvan ultimate, because not only does it knock everybody out of the Cataclysm, it also knocks them out of the Chaos Storm.
Especially when you have something to worry about, like that Diana and Renekton. Like, how are you supposed to be able to really function in these team fights when you always have to worry about getting flanked around as Dignitas? When they want to play more of that front-to-back team style fight, they can't really allow Soligo, Tomio, Surdy to find those angles onto Spawn, onto Darkwings. Otherwise, they just are going to get doom and gloomed here, but maybe this is going to be the play. Finding a pick onto Surdy, onto Skytech, especially when the rest of Dignitas aren't there to make the play. Soligo hasn't even channeled that TP. They're going to be able to get a Glacial Fissure onto Skytech, but the Spider ran away to dodge away from the Moonlight. Vigil is going to be able to get the flag and drag. Skytech taking a lot of damage, but it's a trade from jungle for support. The TP now used by Soligo on the other side. The flash over the wall. He's going to be able to fall up right into the middle of all four members of Dignitas to pick up the kill on to JJ. With a little bit of damage coming in from Spawn. Trying to see if he can chip out Cowrie. But with 3 still alive, for the side of Dignitas, they have to be careful against the 4 of Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, Dignitas never just going quietly into the good night, but biting off a little bit more than they could chew. And now Evil Geniuses again in control. Surdy gonna be running through it. I'm not sure if Evil Geniuses wants to try and start this up. They do. They're going to be starting to hit this. There's a lot of tools still available for the members of Dignitas to try and stop this. But Surdy with the teleport is going to back away and come back with full HP. We'll see. What can Dignitas even do?
TP from Surdy. Look at where XU and JJ are. Still coming out of the base. 25% health left on it to the Baron. There's only going to be a little damage coming in from Eclipse if he can seal it away, but he just cannot manage it. Smite secured from Tomio.
And they're not even going to find an exit frag. There's nobody as they leave this Baron that's going to be in a spot where they are easy to punish by Dignitas. So great play once again coming out from Evil Geniuses. Eclipse desperately looking to try and find something, but again, nobody in a position where they're easy to get picked up, and the choke point is cut off with the Chompers. Evil Geniuses going to be getting out scot-free as the heist is completed. They might lose a turret here, but absolutely worth it.
Or maybe they can get a pick onto Tomio. He's already gone gold, and that's going to be a flash away, too, to be able to dodge away from XU. But now XU's in a bad spot. He has to use the Cataclysm onto the members, but he still died to the rocket. With Dignitas now going to be re-engaged. It's a Glacial Fissure to try to separate the teams. But look at Cowrie. The damage coming in. They found the picks into the sideline. Dignitas are on the run, trying to get back to their base. Dark Wings and Eclipse, they might be able to poke out EG on the way back towards their base, but with the Baron buffing up EG, they should be knocking on their door.
And watching Cowrie play this time around, he's getting so much damage, always getting excited, and now he finds another one.
That's going to be the turret taken. They can now get onto this inhibitor. They've got Cowrie. He's got a lot of damage from this range, but Darkwings is able to nicely clear out this minion wave.
40 seconds left, Magical, until the next dragon spawns, and Evil Genius is in prime position to go back and get it. They're going to be able to back away with a ton of money that they just built up in order to come and actually take down this Mountain Soul. And once they have that, with the amount of tankiness that exists on their team, it's going to be very, very difficult for the members of Dignitas to do enough damage to take down anybody on the side of Evil Geniuses. So we'll see. Dignitas, this is probably their last hurrah. They need to try and find something here, but look at this. Darkwings hasn't even gotten his back in, and it looks like they're just going to be giving over the Dragon Soul at this point.
Well, look at what the inventory is like for Evil Geniuses. 30, that Death Dance that you had called out is now being topped off with a Blade of the Ruined King out of him as well, to truly be able to dive into this backline and immediately eviscerate any target.
Yeah, but there we go. The Dragon Soul is completed at this point. 4 straight dragons coming in from Evil Geniuses. Again, a complete reversal of fortunes between Game 1 and Game 2. Evil Geniuses, once they had the first play come through and the botch dive coming out from Dignitas, Evil Geniuses continue to punish everything coming out from their opponents. And we'll see if there's anything that Dignitas can try and do now that they are down 10,000 gold. You know they're going to be the ones to try and pull the trigger. They're going to be the ones who try and find a play to bring themselves back. I just worry that there's not a play that they can easily make.
Not when you can just get hit by the bank that is Evil Geniuses, as they are knocking onto these inhibitor turrets. They've already got a little bit of damage mid lane. They're getting more damage into this bot lane. 30 is able to control that of Eclipse. You can tell that attempted plays are coming in from Dignitas, so they're trying to dam this to be able to find a little bit of chip damage so they can go for the full engage. Yeah,
the double control wards make sure that Darkwings is a little bit safer. There's not a super easy way to engage on him that's not fully committal, right? Tomio or Sturdy would have to jump over the wall in order to try and get him. And they have enough vision to really poke super aggressively on the opposite side of the wall, but poking is not actually going for a team fight. You need to try and find something, as the first inhibitor turret is going to be going down here momentarily.
There it is, and with the depth charge onto Darkwings, he has to path so far back away from Skytech so that he does not get picked. Cowrie gets free time with the inhibitor all the while. Mid lane 2, Evil Geniuses are now getting so much off of these plays with very little answered by Dignitas.
Yeah, that's going to be one inhibitor going down for Evil Geniuses. Now they're going to be rotating over to the mid lane to see if they want to try and pick that up as well, but not going to be fully committing to it. But they got what they came for, Magical. They got the bottom lane inhibitor. They got the mid lane inhibitor turret. There's not a lot that Dignitas can do, and it's going to get more difficult on the top side of the map here as Evil Geniuses come back, because they have free pressure on the other side of the map, and with only 2 minutes left for the Baron to spawn, Evil Geniuses can play with that as well. And I mean, I want to double check in on again what we were talking about with Cowrie at the beginning of the day, and I was kind of criticizing some of his DPS during Game 1, but now in Game 2, I mean, if anything, he might be having the opposite problem. He's getting all the damage down, even if it sometimes means that he is going down afterwards. But he is constantly willing to step up. He's now playing kind of that chip on his shoulder, saying, I'm going to carry this game, even as Surdy has a 6-0-5 performance.
And it makes sense when you look at the rest of their composition. They've got the gold on the top half of the map. The Renekton Diana combo out of Surdy and Tomio is working. Kaori, he can position far forward, and if they focus on him, they're forgetting about Surdy. They're forgetting about all the gold lead that had been grabbed by this Evil Genius top side of the map.
So Evil Geniuses now will see how cleanly they can actually close this out and what desperate play Dignitas will try and go for. They can choose to wait 3 minutes until the Elder Dragon, but that is such a desperate gamble. If they end up going for that Eclipse, still needs to recall. And what's this?
Jesus.
Kaori's recall?
Surdy. But Surdy was also just getting all that free damage onto the inhibitor. While it might be able to stand here in mid lane, it looks like resets are still being attempted by Evil Geniuses, so they could buy a Lord Dominic's Regard out of Kaori. So now he can join in this fight and actually be able to just completely nuke Eclipse.
Yeah, I really like the fact that they are willing to play patiently, because they're not super worried about the scaling coming out from Dignitas. Yeah, it's a lot of damage, but the difference in gold means that even with all that damage, it might not be enough. Instead, Evil Geniuses want to pull Dignitas out of their base. They're waiting for this Baron to spawn, and that's going to be where Evil Geniuses are going to go for a fight up against Dignitas. And Dignitas, with all the flanks that they have to be worried about, it's going to be super difficult for them to even come in towards the Baron. And I'm shocked. They are committing 3 members to the other side of the map, trying to find a pick probably onto Surdy, but Surdy's not there. Surdy's not willing to give them the pick.
And even though Eclipse and Darkwings both have TP, there's nothing they are going to gain off this bot lane play. It's still 2 minutes until the Elder spawns, so that is just Baron completely free for Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, Dignitas, they're making a desperate gamble again. They're saying, we don't think that you're going to be able to close out the game before the Elder spawns, and you're going to have to fight us for it. That is our one way back into the game. Now, it's a desperate gamble, right? It is long odds for Dignitas to be able to survive the next minute and a half before the Elder Dragon spawns without losing, you know, the other 2 inhibitors that they still have standing. And Evil Geniuses with the Baron, it's just a matter of putting one person mid lane with the Baron minions. And beautiful thing from Kaori, he's not empowering the minions.
Oh,
but it's caught!
Play came in.
They got him!
Kaori gets caught! That's a huge pick coming in from Dignitas, but look at Siligo on the other side, trying to see if he can get the re-engagement to the back line. They might have gotten the pick onto Kaori. That's a huge play from Dignitas, but it does not stop the Baron push coming in.
Great play coming out from Dignitas, looking for a way to stop it, and this might be the payoff that they were looking for. They put all their money on red, and they hit it this time. Now they just need to defend these. It's still a difficult task because the rest of Evil Geniuses is so strong. They can't afford to lose these inhibitors while this Baron is running. They want to be able to take a fight for the upcoming Elder Dragon. And crucially for them, Magical, there's going to be no flash and no heal on Kaori. They suddenly have a way to take down the major DPS source, but will they end up losing their entire team in the process?
Yeah, but the thing is, they might have hit red on the bet there, but they need to get double zeros if they want to get themselves out of the red in the debt that they still have against that of Evil Geniuses. They're down 11,500 gold at this point to Evil Geniuses. The Elder Dragon is up in 15 seconds, and you can already see that Evil Geniuses are now playing around that massive lead they have on the map.
Yeah, and Evil Geniuses have total control of all the choke points. It's very difficult for the members of Dignitas to even walk in. Darkwings, I mean, at least he's solving his mana problems with the blue buff completed, but Siligo, ooh.
Oh my, he didn't hit him with the 5-point strike, so he thinks nobody was in that bush.
I mean, we'll see if that ends up affecting anything. It's not like they can see them coming in from this direction anyway. So, Kaori starting to hit from over the wall.
Trying to look for the flank. Kaori,
so
like
safe.
you said, over the wall. He's very safe, but Dignitas are looking to see if they can make a play. Depth charge onto XU. Siligo goes over. That is the Elder taken for free, coming in from Evil Geniuses, and the retreat out of Dignitas. They have to run so far back to their base, but it's going to be the engages onto XU, and he's killed off. Killing spree coming in from Tomio. Clips over the wall, but Surdy's going to be able to chase him, and look at Siligo hunting down poor Spawn. He's unstoppable in this fight. Evil Geniuses have had full control of Game 2. It is deja vu, but the reverse play coming in as Dignitas are the ones in their base, and it is Evil Geniuses looking to take this second game and tie it up 1 apiece as they get these assassinations coming in with the help of Elder Dragon.
2 tanks, there's not enough damage left for Dignitas to try and actually win this game, but the only thing left is for Evil Geniuses to actually take down the Nexus. It's been a great defensive showing from them this time around. going 1-1 and remaining only one game separated from Evil Geniuses and Dignitas and the rest of the pack. So great play coming out from Evil Geniuses this time around. I love these close series where you get to see both teams have a lot of success, and as Evil Geniuses pick it up, it means that we're going to see a lot more from them as they continue looking towards the rest of their very difficult schedule.
Honestly, this is good plays from both sides. We've seen the strengths and weaknesses out of each of them, how they're able to draft and how they're able to really use those advantages in the early stages of the game to be able to exploit the other. But that also makes us worried, like you said, about their difficult schedule they have in front of them. Both of them have to face off against 100 Thieves Academy and CLG Academy, our top of the standings teams. And if there's these weaknesses that they have in this early game when they're not able to get these leads or they coin flip a little bit too much, those are two teams that can easily take advantage of that.
Yeah. And the question that we raised at the beginning is, how consistent are these teams going to be? Well, they went 1-1, right? It feels like we had two very different games coming out from these two squads, and with the consistency that we saw, it still raises a lot of questions on how well they're going to be able to continue performing for the rest of the day at Magical or for the rest of this weekend. We'll see how they end up shaking out because, I mean, despite the fact they are still solidly in the middle of the pack, I'm still very excited about a lot of players on these teams. I think they can still have a lot of opportunity for growth. They just need to find their stride, and they can start seeing the rest of the results of them getting better.
And with our first series ending in a tie at 1 apiece, we're going to throw it to a break. When we come back, our lovely host, Mazel, will be here for an interview, so make sure you stay tuned.